All right, good evening, everyone. It is, or good afternoon, I guess still. It's 4:45, and we will call our meeting to order. This is the regularly scheduled meeting for the Johnson County Fiscal Court, June 10th, 2019. If you would, please everyone stand and let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
By way of announcements this evening, the only announcement that I have, I want to update everyone on is and remind everybody the countywide cleanup is still going on. That program goes until June 30th. Just for everyone's information, as of this morning, we have had 236 residents pick up vouchers and participating in this program. So there's obviously still time for others to participate, but so far that's a pretty good number of participants. So that countywide cleanup will go on until June 30th. Also, just an update, as you know, that Monica Spriggs and our jailer Steve Rose have been basically weekly taking a group out to do roadside pickup, and to date they have picked up about 1,350 bags of garbage along our roadsides in the last probably 3 months or so. And from what they tell me, that's an ongoing process that they want to continue to do on a consistent basis, but obviously it's making a good positive impact on our community. So we want to thank them for spearheading that effort and keeping that going. It makes a difference, so thank you all. Also, we have some folks visiting with us tonight. I think we have some additional folks to get here shortly, which we have toward the end of our agenda, but I want to recognize that State Representative Bobby McCool is with us this evening. We appreciate him being here. And then we have folks representing the State Highway Department, and we'll introduce all of them at the end of the meeting, and our item agenda 10. We'll introduce all those folks then. But Bobby, thanks for attending, and we appreciate all your support of Johnson County. Thank you very much. Next item is approval of minutes for both the regularly scheduled meeting on May 13th and the special meeting on May the 20th. And would entertain a motion, after review of those minutes, would entertain a motion to approve both sets of minutes. Or any changes, if there's any changes need to be made.
Make a motion to present the minutes as presented.
Motion to approve the minutes for both the regular and special call meeting by Commissioner Adams. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gerald. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is approval of monthly bills. You have claims list in your packet, as well as some additional claims that the treasurer provided for us this evening. So we would want to include those in a motion to approve the bills. If you have any questions on any of them, please feel free to ask. If I don't know the immediate answer, then likely Betty will. So, but if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. If there are no questions, we would entertain a motion to approve the monthly bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly bills.
Motion made by Commissioner Salyer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion? All in favor?
I'd also like to say thank you to Betty, because every time I've had any questions or anything about any of the bills, I've called and she's helped me get straightened up on those, and I really appreciate that.
Well, we do appreciate Betty's efforts very much. Thank you for saying that. All right, we have a motion and a second. Do any other discussion on the monthly bills? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next item is approval of transfers in the fiscal court. The first one is the ever-present jail fund transfer, and then you also have a list of additional transfers behind that. These are just as we near the end of the fiscal year. Obviously, you know, the budget is that, it's a budget, and so sometimes you misappropriate occasionally on line items, so we have to transfer just from one to the other to make sure those are covered. So those affect both the road fund, the jail fund, and the LGEA fund as well. So is there any questions on any of the transfers? If there isn't any, we would entertain a motion to approve those transfers.
Make a motion to approve the transfers.
Motion by Commissioner Gerald, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sire. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is, we'd like to ask for approval of the financial information that you have in your packet of information. If there's any questions on that, please let us know. Otherwise, we entertain a motion to approve the financial information.
I'll make that motion to approve the financial.
We have a motion to approve the financial information by Commissioner Adams. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gerald. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is the approval of the Johnson County Sheriff's Office 2018 financial statement. Betty, I would probably get you to provide explanation of why this is here in June. I think this is something that probably should have been presented, I think, in January, February, right?
Yes,
And it
was
just
supposed to be.
did not get included in our information earlier in the year. But this is basically the year-ending statement for the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. And remember that they operate on a calendar year as opposed to us operating on a fiscal year ending June 30th. So this is the final statement for the Sheriff's Office for calendar year 2018, which they are audited every year the same as we are as well. But we need, for record, we will need approval of this financial statement for 2018. If there's any questions, we certainly are happy to try to answer those for you as well. If there's not any questions, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion we approve.
Motion by Commissioner Sire. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Next item is approval to surplus a vehicle. This is a Ford 2011 Crown Victoria. This is a vehicle that we no longer use in operations for the fiscal court. We would ask for approval to surplus this vehicle. What we hope we can derive out of this vehicle and some remaining area development funds that we have is that we can take those two sources, the surplus of this vehicle plus ADF, and possibly replace the van that the coroner is currently using. I don't know what age that van is, but from what I understand, and from what I can see, the maintenance records on that, maintenance costs are fairly significant because of the age and the mileage on that. So what we'd like to do is utilize the surplus funds from this vehicle plus ADF funds to hopefully be able to replace the van for the coroner. But in order to do so, we need approval to surplus this vehicle. But again, it's not being used. It hasn't been used since.
Has it been sold and you're asking what to do with the money? Or
No,
you're
I'm asking
to sell it
asking for the approval to surplus the vehicle to put it up for sale.
and then use that money towards what you just said.
Correct, yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gerald. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion or questions on that? All in favor? Any opposed? We will, next item is emergency management report. You do have a copy of that in your packet. Mr. McClure is not able to be here this evening. He has been in training in Moorhead all day, and so he wasn't able to make it back in time for the meeting. But as you review the information in there, if you have any questions, obviously feel free to give him a call and ask him about that. Obviously, he has a fairly active schedule with what he does and representing this county and the city actually in emergency management responsibilities. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let him know. Oh, actually, I take that back. We do approve that on a monthly basis, so we would need a motion to approve that report.
I make a motion we approve the report.
Motion by Commissioner Sires, or second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gerald. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, our next item, and looks like our other folks made it this evening, so we appreciate that. Hopefully I can get everyone's name correct, but next on our agenda is, we're very fortunate tonight. We have folks representing State Highway Department with us this evening. I have Mary Westfall Holbrook, who is the Chief Engineer, if I get your title correct, for District 12 out of Pikeville. Tim Spencer and Doug Wright, who are also with the Highway Department. We're all familiar with those guys. They work here in Johnson County. And then joining us just a few minutes ago is Jill Horn, who is our area representative for rural secondary roads, and then Commissioner Tomlinson with rural secondary roads, or I'm sorry, Tomlin, sorry. But anyway, thanks for being with us. I know you're making...
We have Daryl Sloan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daryl.
He's our branch manager for this area.
You're hid behind the camera, Daryl. Sorry about that. Daryl Sloan also with Pikeville. So, but anyway, thanks for being here. I understand you all are kind of making your rounds to the different fiscal courts, and obviously we appreciate what you all do for us, and any information you'd like to share with us, we're happy to hear.
Well, Judge, Commissioners, appreciate your hospitality, letting us join you this evening and talk about your county's infrastructure needs. I want to start off just by quoting Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln once said, "Things might come to those who wait, but only things left over by those who hustle." And in Frankfort, we have a governor who works hard every day, hustles every day to bring jobs to Kentucky. And over the last 3 years, over 51,000 jobs have been created, $19 billion in new business investment, $86 billion in exports, and Kentucky has had the lowest unemployment rate in the history of the Commonwealth. Now, the numbers I just mentioned, even though they're record-setting, the governor's not content, he's not satisfied. And Judge, you may have heard him say this. He has said, he's challenged all of us, no matter what walk of life we're from, to have a goal and to have a vision. And his goal for Kentucky is for us to be the industrial manufacturing hub of the United States. And he has said on multiple occasions that he wants the governors of Texas, Tennessee, Indiana, Ohio, Florida, you name the state. He wants those governors to one day wake up and ask themselves, why are our kids going to Kentucky to work? And our job in the Transportation Cabinet is to help see that vision be fulfilled. And in order to continue our economic development and success, we have to have a strong infrastructure. Now, Judge, Commissioners, unless this county is different than some of the other counties across the Commonwealth, you probably don't have so much money overflowing you don't know what to do with. Would I be correct in saying that?
Pretty safe assumption.
Right. So you have limited funding at the county level. We have limited funding at the state level. And Governor Bennett's been adamant that we work with local officials to see what your critical infrastructure needs are, because when you apply for funding, there's 119 other counties applying for the same funding, so we have to be able to maximize the funds that we have available. And that's why we're here tonight. Most state agencies or even federal agencies don't reach out and say, tell me your problems, but we want to know what your problems are so we can help to address and assist in alleviating some of those, if possible. There's a lot of infrastructure needs across the Commonwealth. If you compare Kentucky to Tennessee, we're basically the same square mileage, but we have double the bridges and double the highway miles. We have over 14,000 bridges, 53,000 county road miles, and 27,000 state highway miles. Now, on top of that, to compound it, is if you take Indiana and Tennessee and Kentucky, Indiana and Tennessee have approximately close to 7 million people living in their states. We have 4.4 million people. So we have less people to draw from. So the governor's initiative is to bring as many jobs as he can to the state and expand that base to draw from. So I guess today would be just a good day I know, Judge, you've been talking with Jill about infrastructure needs, but today would be a great time to just tell us what is critical to your county, and we might see what different funding is available and opportunities are available to address those needs.
I would probably start with just maybe a bigger question, that is, since 3/4 of this group sitting here is new to our responsibilities. You're the Commissioner of Rural Secondary Roads.
Yes, sir.
So give us kind of the 25-cent tour of the funding so that we all are clear, the funds to which that we receive that come through your office, whether it's County Road Aid, whether it's Flex,
Right.
whether it's...
County Road Aid, Flex funding, emergency funds. Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky has been hit hard this year with rain. I think we've spent more in emergency funding this year than we have maybe in the last 15 years. With the amount of rain we have, the new fiscal year is getting ready to turn over. But we also have discretionary funding, and that's funding that is a little higher of a threshold than what maybe Flex or County Road Aid money would be. That's your just absolute worst roads, so to speak. When the district evaluates them, it has to rank a lot higher than what Flex or your would rank, for instance. Discretionary could also be used to attack maybe some of your infrastructural and bridging issues. The governor, how many of you have heard the Bridging Kentucky program? Have you? Okay, you've heard about it. The Bridging Kentucky program is an initiative by the governor to address the 1,000 worst bridges across the Commonwealth. And over 400 of them are funded this biennium. They're going to be done. Where we've saved some money in where the bids have come in under what we estimated the cost, I think we've been able to add an additional 120 some bridges to that. But, you know, if there's bridging issues, I know infrastructure across the Commonwealth has been neglected for decades. And, you know, we obviously, with the limited funding we have to address those needs. But, you know, when submitting discretionary requests, you know, your higher volume trafficked areas are prime candidates, you know, just anything that can be used to help in economic development, safety, in your travel, that's what we want to know about.
And just by way of reminder, you know, the flex funds, they presented that to us when Tim came to our fiscal meeting previously and gave their plans for maintenance and upgrades of roads. You know, part of that funding was flex funding, which is about 140-some thousand. So we, you know, as a road department, and then we'll, you know, try to identify where we think those funds can be best used for and it's primarily resurfacing projects. And so we obviously are already working on that and have a preliminary list prepared to be submitted for the use of those flex funds as well. So.
Well, we also have the 80-20 bridge program that are used for smaller structures, 20 feet and under, generally for, you know, culverts and drain pipes and so on. That's also through my office as well.
And we have not, records indicate that currently the county has not utilized any of the 80-20 bridge funding for fiscal year 19, but we have 3 projects identified that we're trying to get bids on now, that we're trying to make application by the end of this month. Because it's my understanding, as long as if we get application in, then they can count toward.
Yeah, it's something we can definitely look at and assess for sure.
To try to get consideration for this year, but then I guess that's a rollover. I mean, it's not a rollover, but it's available to us again in the next fiscal year, the 80-20 bridge fund as well. So, you know, if we don't get commitments this time, then we'll obviously seek that commitment in the next fiscal year. Any questions? It's a prime opportunity to get to ask the commissioner questions. We see him and his staff at various meetings, and we appreciate all their information they provide to us. And
well, Mary's here as well. She can answer
yeah,
any projects going on within.
Well, I think Mary would probably be happy to step up and talk about Route 1428 on record, wouldn't you, Mary?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure the judge and most of you have seen our news announcement. We will be moving equipment in, hopefully Wednesday, weather permitting, to start removing the slide material on 1428. And hopefully we're anticipating approximately 3 months of work before we'll have it open to traffic. But on behalf of the Transportation Cabinet, I would like to express to the Johnson County Fiscal Court and all the citizens of Johnson County for your patience. I know that it's been a long time. It's been, I don't want to say how many years, but it's been a long process, but we just appreciate, you know, those that were patient with us, and we were doing the best that we could within the legal system. So I've got Doug and Tim and Daryl with me, but a couple of things I just, maybe if there's any questions anyone has on any of the roads that we're paving or any bridges or anything else.
I guess you probably saw that, you know, they've also announced the resurfacing projects on Route 40 and 1107, I believe, correct?
Yes,
I think that's the two that are
There's also going to be some paving on, Cape Seal on 2275, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Lake Road.
On the Lake Road, yes, okay.
Also, as the commissioner touched on, we had a lot of slides this past year, and Doug sent me a list. I think you had 70 in Johnson County, and we have 17 funded right now.
There are 17 Federal Highway Administration jobs, and then
Oh,
the rest
okay.
of them is
FEMA. So we had like 70 FEMA and 17 FHWA. So we'll be hopefully fixing a lot of slides here in Johnson County. And we touched on the bridge in Kentucky. We have one in Johnson County. We're getting ready to do our first design build ever in doing bridges. So they've taken 102 bridges in districts 10, 11 and 12, which would extend, you know, Johnson County and on over to Harlan, but 3 of our districts. But unfortunately, y'all only have one bridge in it, and that's on the Kentucky 825 over Little Paint. But that will be in the design build, and hopefully will be coming out within the next couple of years.
And the other thing too that keep in mind is we also work through the highway department with a 6-year road plan as well. And we've had those meetings initiate out of the Big Sandy Area Development District, which we've had our first meeting on that, and we've made proposals for 4 projects. The county is entitled to present 4 projects for consideration, and if it moves through the process in the area development district, then it moves on, it's my understanding, to the district level, I guess, and then it moves on to the state level. So we've not had any road projects on that 6-year road plan in quite some time, and so now we have 4 that we're actually proposing on that plan to hopefully get consideration, and they're directly tied to economic development, which is obviously a focus that we've all discussed is, you know, critical. And so we feel like that these projects are certainly worthwhile serious consideration because they do tie, at least 3 of the 4 tie directly to economic development.
Well, Judge, I'll say, you know, the running joke about the 6-year road plan is you get a project on the 6-year road plan, it's on there for 40 years. You know, and I think over the last 3 years, as Mary's been a witness to, is that, you know, with the SHIFT program and everything like that, some of those programs have helped prioritize projects. So however programmed were we? Was it like 190% or something like that? Over programmed.
Yeah.
So I guess it was a good soundbite, you know, whenever some of these projects were proposed, but we're working to alleviate that and shift that priority.
Seems like we're trying to move toward obviously getting things in the plan that are more feasible and more reasonable expectation of accomplishing them. Yeah, because we looked at some in our consideration that it would have been a waste of everyone's time to really try to push those type of projects forward. They were just too sizable of a project and just would not get funded.
The governor has also charged us with looking at safety projects. You know, number one, you want the road to be as safe as possible with economic development tied to that. So that's what we've been looking at.
And you know, that's on the 1428. Bobby and the mayor and I actually did a community update program on WSIP this morning, and we talked about 1428 as, you know, that's an economic you know, bonus for us to have that back open again, because it has economically hurt our community. And it also, not as it will help us economically get it back open, but it also helps with emergency management as well, because there are residents that are just on the other side of 1428 that it adds considerable time, obviously, for them to get some key emergency management services for that road closed. So it's a big help to us to get that open economically and from an emergency management standpoint as well. So we appreciate the efforts to try to bring that project forward. So, any other questions for these folks? It's a captive audience. So
Do we have any plans in the future for 172?
Starting on Morgan County coming towards Stephens? No. That's something that probably we've looked at it as a district, but it's not, I guess, percolated up to the Big Sandy ad to look at the SHIFT program. Because I know they've done a lot of work in Morgan County, and it looks really nice and drives good. This is probably something we need to look at.
And actually, the 4th project out of our 4 that we did recommend in the consideration for the 6-year road plan, one of those is on 172. It's that cliff overhang area just past where you turn up. Yeah, we put that one on there as consideration, because that
Was it to replace the bridge too?
no, it was just through that cliffed area
okay.
there, just that straight stretch where it hangs over, you know, and creates obviously some safety issues. But that was our 4th project on the recommendation list. And I guess there's been previous discussion in the past. There's certain areas on 172 here in Johnson County that they've looked at in the past. And again, it comes down to, you know, where does it fit into the whole scheme of things of not overcommitting to projects you really can't deliver to begin with. So, but that one is on the list.
I have one. Are you familiar, right off the top of your head, with, I heard you say Route 40, Doug, I'm sure you know, over in the mouth of Greasy, in Boone's Camp, that terrible spot. I just didn't know if that was, overall, I mean, I think overall the roads over that way, 40 stuff's not, you know, but there's something bad just happened there that's very dangerous. I don't know if you're familiar with that spot or not, Doug, you are.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if there's any.
We're gonna patch it. I mean, we want to put
what our maintenance crews can do on it.
Right.
And other than, I mean, right now, there's no funding, there's something really deep happening in there.
It's more than a
And
patch, I think.
it's more than what I think our conventional methods are to fix it.
It may be one of the worst, I guess it is, it's a bad spot, but like I said, it's something going on deeper than just throw some gravel on it. I just wasn't sure what the, moving forward, that's my community, I just said I'm very familiar with that one. It's
We
back
can
when Airborne-
continue to look at it. We'll have Doug will keep it on his radar. if we-
Right,
anything
I
we
know
can-
these guys, know, I wasn't, I know that's a, you got a lot on your mind, I get that, I didn't try to point.
How long of a stretch is it?
Huh?
How long of a stretch?
No, it's a
is it?
spot, I mean, it's from me to you, but you'll go Airborne, you'll leave the,
The whole thing's probably about 4,000 foot long. There are actually two different.
Yeah.
And then there's about 300 feet more, so there's a nose settlement place. So it looks like some deep settlement or a whole hillside coming over, pushing underneath the roadway.
Does it affect just the road or houses too?
Well, right now, it hasn't affected any houses. I mean, they're only, Boone's County Post Office there, there's only house, or only construction that really. The rest of the structures on the other side of the creek. So, but we didn't have that much problem until we had some excavation work done above our roadway, which probably interjected some water in some things that didn't used to have water. It's probably
Combination of both sides.
affected our roadway pretty bad.
Anything else?
We'll look into it.
This report? Thank you all. We appreciate you taking the time. We know that it wasn't
Thank you.
an easy trip, and I understand you got behind an accident on the way up here in addition, so.
Well, Judge, I certainly appreciate it, the commissioners appreciate it as well. And Judge, if there's anything we can do, like I said, we're just a phone call away or short drive away. I know Joe will be in touch with you and try to look at some of these funding opportunities to alleviate some of these concerns.
We assure you, we will be in touch.
Great.
And we appreciate the invitation to contact us. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you all. We
And you know
appreciate
you
it.
can call me anytime.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Got Mary on speed dial.
Have a good evening.
Thank
Thank
you all
you.
too. Are you leaving now, Commissioner? Are you all heading out?
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. If you've got 5 minutes, we're getting ready to adjourn. I'd love to speak to you about a project real quick before you head out. Great, thanks. Is there anything else we have other on our agenda? If there's anything from the group that's here today? I don't see anything from the commissioners. All right, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
All right. Second. All right, all in favor? Stand adjourned.